From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Cascade Paint and Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Kruger, and those afternoon winds, they should start to subside here through the afternoon. That's good news. The bad news is temperatures will continue to increase. It's going to be even warmer as we go into your Tuesday and Wednesday, and then a slight dip in our temperatures as we get to the end of the week, but it will most likely stay above normal and feel more like summer. And looking down the line, long range, next 10, 15 days or so, I just don't see much rain in the forecast, if any. So it looks like it's going to remain fairly dry with the summer-like heat, at least through the end of next week, if not longer. Take a look at your neighborhood forecast for today. Not quite 100 degrees in the valley today, but it will be close in some spots here. And you can see temperatures in the 80s for most of the higher elevations, although in Trinity County, low to mid 90s, and looks like in the mid to upper 60s for the coast. All right, so it looks like it's going to be a warm start to the week and even warmer for tomorrow. Now we look at the gusty winds. So the winds were strongest this morning. I do expect as we go through the afternoon, the winds will start to subside. Still a little breezy, still a little gusty in some spots here. That's going to keep that fire danger elevated. But then as we go into tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, the wind's really no longer a factor. Still a little breezy off in the eastern mountains. You can see some of the greens in there over 20 miles per hour. And looks like still a little gusty for some of us along the coast too. And that'll probably be the case on Wednesday as well. So really it's today that's the biggest concern with the winds, as well as the humidity. Although the humidity will stay low, at least we're not going to be factoring those winds as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday. But still those single digits, even for places in the eastern mountains here, taking you into your Tuesday, still those single digits for the valley. And I don't expect much change. It's still going to be hot and it's going to be dry out there. But as I mentioned, the winds will not play a factor in that elevated fire risk. But even when it's hot and dry, even with those weaker winds, we still have to be extra careful. We are still well into the fire season, folks, and we're not out of it just yet. Now, we do have the ridge of high pressure right here. This is what's going to be building over the next few days, and why our temperatures will actually be even warmer for your Tuesday and Wednesday. But that ridge of high pressure is keeping things sunny out there, even for the coast. There's tomorrow morning. No fog for the coast. The fog bank is inching closer, but even Tuesday afternoon, we are still looking at sunny skies even for the coast. But then we may start to see some fog redevelop around Humboldt Bay, around Eureka, but that should burn off as we go into Wednesday afternoon. All right, so the ridge of high pressure, let's talk about that. So a couple of things I want to point out. Number one is we've got high pressure over the desert southwest, we've been dealing with even last week, and high pressure over the eastern Pacific. These two have been trying to join forces and kind of build together, giving us a stronger ridge of high pressure, but they've been kind of getting squashed a bit at times because, thankfully, there are some cooler storm systems to our north that are riding over that ridge of high pressure, preventing us from getting as hot as we could. Now, that doesn't mean it hasn't gotten hot, because it has, and it will too. You see, this area of low pressure, it rides to the north. Now, it's going to stay well to our north, but we've got this ridge of high pressure building right here. But this is a fairly weak ridge. You see how we've got the high pressure in both the eastern Pacific and the desert southwest, kind of joining forces, as I mentioned. But it's not a very prominent ridge, right? If we had a ridge more like this, you could bet it would be a lot hotter. But it's a fairly flat ridge of high pressure. Again, thanks to this storm system riding over that ridge. But then as we go into the middle of the week, toward the end of the week, we've got another trough of low pressure digging to the south. Now, the area of high pressure that is over the eastern Pacific, that'll get squashed entirely. But we still have the ridge of high pressure over the desert southwest that will impact our weather. So even though we have this cooler air approaching, squashing the heat, we still have temperatures above normal for this time of the year for the end of the week. That'll be the case this upcoming weekend, because that cooler air then rides up to the north. High pressure is still a dominant feature over the desert southwest, but expanding into Northern California. And then going into early next week, that ridge of high pressure over the eastern Pacific will begin to rebuild again. And we've got another ridge of high pressure building into Monday, Tuesday of next week. So yeah, it's not a very strong ridge of high pressure, but temperatures will most likely stay above normal. So bottom line is, it's going to be hot. It's going to feel more like summer over the next 7 to 10 days. And we don't have any rain in the forecast anytime soon. Temperatures mid to upper 90s today in the valley, 70s and 80s for the higher elevations, and those mid to upper 60s along the coast. So we look at that 7-day outlook. Again, the peak of the warming trend will be for Tuesday, Wednesday. Temperatures will slowly drop as we get into the weekend. But again, the normal highs in the upper 80s for the valley for this time of the year. So we're going to be well above that, even going into the weekend, despite the fact that, yeah, we'll probably drop below 100 degrees, but still hot nonetheless. Now for the coast, obviously not as dramatic, mid to upper 60s, really mid 60s, give or take, for the next 7 days. Inland, though, again, that peak will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and then temperatures start to slowly drop as we get into this upcoming weekend. And taking a look at Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains, kind of the same story here. It's pretty warm really through most of the week, but we do expect to see a decent drop in those temperatures as we go into the weekend. That's your afternoon update. I'll be back at 6 p.m. with your latest forecast.
We're the locals down the street. The neighbor you come to for advice. A nest egg for the golden years. A loan or a new account for that growing business. What started in Chico 50 years ago has taken us all around California, providing big bank lending power and high-tech service, while keeping our relationships personal. We're still the locals down the street, no matter where your street might be. Tri-Counties Bank, California's local bank.